buenos días.
Buenas tardes, buenas noches.
This is Barb.
And this is Estella.
And welcome to
Cafecito
and Crime. So today, it's an episode that I'm going to be discussing with you guys. Now, this episode is very special because I just recently went to go see my family and I saw a few of my cousins that I hadn't seen in a very long time. My cousins are in Fort Worth, but they are from San Antonio. And so then, we were talking about HEB and all that good stuff. And then I told them that they were like, oh, how are you doing? Blah, blah. I'm like, well, I've been working on my podcast and just kind of catching up. And so they were so excited for me. I really love my family. The fact that we don't see each other and then we can get together and support each other so well. It's awesome. So shout out to my cousin Annette and Denise. Well, mostly my cousin Denise is the one. She's the one that told me about this case. So this is what we're going to be talking about today. So today's case is called the middle school killer.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. If you would like to listen to about the middle school killer, go ahead and grab your cafecitos.
And let's get started.
Today we are going to Florida.
Again?
Yes. We're going to Palomero Bay, Florida.
Okay.
Palomero Bay, Florida. So the fun, interesting fact about Palomero is that in 1985, so not too long ago,
right?
Bien joven, archaeologists found skeletal and charred animal remains from the early time that included fossilized remains for extinct animals like mammoth sloths, dire wolves, and saber-toothed tigers.
From like prehistoric?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know, that was so cool. Yeah. I was like, and there were some of these animals apparently were extinct. So I thought that was cool. But anyway, So we will be speaking about Southwood Middle School, where Michael Hernandez went to school in the 8th grade. He had two best friends. One was Andre Martin, and the other one was Jamie Gough. They had been friends for a long time. Apparently, with Andre, he knew him, I think, since he was in the 2nd grade. Michael was an honor roll student and a gifted and talented student. His mother was an occupational therapist and his father, I believed, owned a consignment store. Like, I guess like a, ¿cómo se llama? Las tiendas estas que tienen, como Goodwill, ¿no? ¿Así?
I don't think so.
Like a secondhand store? What's a consignment store?
It's a resale store.
Yeah. That's what I thought because anyway. So, I mean, basically his family was fairly normal. Apparently they lived in a area that was kind of upper middle class area. Mm-hmm. And he had a sister and his dog. I mean, like normal
All-American
family. There's always a leader of the friend group. And he was a leader of him and his two friends, Andre and Jamie. According to Andre, which I found a interview with Andre in it, and he pretty much gave the whole account of the story. Mm-hmm. Andre said that he was the one that wanted all the attention at all times. He was the one that was always doing things that would get them in trouble so that he can cause attention. He said he was a leader. So basically, there was nothing that they could go against what
he would say.
Yeah.
He was Regina George?
Regina George. Claro que sí. Era la Regina George.
Yep.
¿Sabes qué? I didn't even realize that. You're right. So Andre, who knew him the best, so he knew him a little bit more because they had been knowing each other since the second grade.
Yeah.
Decided that he said that at one point, I guess Michael decided that he wanted to lose weight.
Oh, in 8th grade?
In 8th grade. And so he started to obsess over working out. He would not eat. He was eating, his calories were really minimal. He had books in his room about how he was going to lose weight. And he would write down absolutely everything that he would do in a day. So in a book, he would have, this moment I would take a shower. At this moment, I would talk to somebody. OCD area. So escribía todo, absolutamente todo en un libro, like everything.
En una libreta.
En una libreta. Y escribía todo hasta cuando iba a hablar con personas, like even that. He was like, oh, I'm going to talk with you for 10 minutes and I'm going to write it down. If it's not written down, it's not going to happen.
Okay.
Pretty much. According to Andre, he also at one point saw that Michael's closet was color coordinated and like he had everything super organized and his shoes were perfect and everything had its own place. So Michael started telling people that he had OCD. He was never actually diagnosed with OCD, but you know how you're like, oh, I just have OCD. I mean,
yeah, you just throw it out there.
I just throw it out there. So he would often say that he had OCD. He also told Andre.
But he, like you said, he was just never in his life ever diagnosed.
He was never diagnosed. What I was about to say was, Andre at one point dijo que su mamá de Michael lo iba a llevar a un psiquiatra. Like, she was kind of concerned with him because she's like, something is not okay, because he started like
obsessing.
The thing is, he would set the table, ponía todos los platos, and he would turn everybody's knives towards him.
Ay.
Yeah. Or he would, like,
it's very concerning behavior.
Yes.
And he was what, like 13, 14?
At this point, he's 13.
Okay.
Abría y cerraba el garage door like a million times.
Oh, okay. That's OCD.
That's OCD, yeah. So, like, certain things that his mom was like, dude, like, this is not okay.
Like, it's pasando de verga.
Sí, ya te estás pasando. I need to talk to someone about this.
And it's good that she recognized, like, oh, shit.
She did, but she never did anything about it. Yeah.
What about his dad?
He was always at work. You know how it is.
Yeah.
You know, for everyone to make it here in the United States, we have to be at work 24/7 and in debt. You know, valiste verga, straight up. So around this time, Michael started also to talk to his friends about how he was obsessed with serial killers. And he thought that it would be cool, in quotations, to have or to be a serial killer. He thought it was cool.
What year is this?
In 2004.
Okay.
Yeah. So around this time, as we know, he was obsessive. So he started researching serial killers.
Yeah.
He had a list of serial killers that he
liked or admired.
He had a list of books that he needed to read. He had
about the serial killers.
Yes, he had video games. He had like a whole music that he would listen to that was like hardcore metal, like to a point where it was kind of scary. Like Andre said that the music would talk about like rape and stuff.
No.
Yeah. It was like not like normal like Kiss and shit. No, like hardcore. And so
not like Metallica. Or
like Metallica ni what was the other guy? El que tiene los ojos verdes o no sé qué color.
What?
Manson? ¿Cómo se llama?
Charles Manson.
No. Charles Manson is the killer.
It's fuck.
¿Cómo se llama? Marilyn Manson.
Yeah.
Everybody that knew him knew that his favorite movie of all times was Silence of the Lambs, which I've been asking everybody today how many people
have
seen Silence of the Lambs. And I don't know why, at least 90% of the people that I ask, which is Estela, has said no. If anybody out there that's listened, that's watched this movie, like, is it good? Like, I don't know.
I know it's like a very...
Dude, it's won awards and shit.
It's a cult classic. It's a...
Don't say cult. It's a classic, right?
It's a cult classic. Like, it's one of the first, like, horror films.
Yeah. And not only that, but I don't know. I personally have not seen it, but my husband Alex said...
Isn't it with Mia Farrow?
No. It's with, ¿cómo se llama?
I think that's the other one. Something... Rosemary's Baby, I think it's Mia Farrow.
I don't know about no fucking Rosemary, dude. Me da miedo, dude. I don't know.
Barbie doesn't watch scary movies.
No, I don't watch scary. I don't like jump scares. So I don't watch scary movies. A mí, algo de blood and stuff like that está bien. No hay pedo. Pero así como que te van a asustar. Like, no, I don't fuck with that. I don't like that shit. Estela, she'll go watch the fucking devil and shit. Remember that time que fuiste a la movie sola con just your friend and it was like another person there?
Yeah.
It was like two people?
Yeah, but we would go in the morning también.
It was like Pray for the Devil?
Yeah, it was Pray for the Devil.
And you said it was, she's like, it's pretty good. I'm like, this bitch, the fuck?
She's like, oh, what are you watching?
Like,
Pray for the Devil. She's like, oh.
Oh, okay, great.
It wasn't like the best movie ever, but I guess.
And at this time, like.
A horror film
that bad, like as apparently was Silence of the Lambs.
I don't think the movie was bad.
Not bad, but graphic because...
I don't think it's graphic.
No, they say it was. I don't know, dude.
Really?
Have you seen it?
No.
Pues no puedes decir que no fue graphic.
Well, pull it up.
No, espérate. Entonces, let me tell you my story. I don't know, but they said that the overall story was about a killer, which was Hannibal Lecter. He's in jail, and Hannibal Lecter is going to help this detective find another killer, which his name was Buffalo Bill.
Okay.
So...
Oh, it's con Jodie Foster, bitch.
Jodie Foster. That's what it...
Foster.
¿Cómo se llama el guy, the Hannibal Lecter?
Hannibal Lecter.
No, pero ¿cómo se llama the guy that played Hannibal Lecter? Michael something, ¿no?
Hold on. Anthony Hopkins.
Estoy bien pendeja. Anthony Hopkins. Wow. Ya empecé.
You know what another movie I was thinking about?
What, bitch?
Jodie Foster. Before you talked about this case, really. Do you remember The Forgotten?
Yes.
No, it wasn't The Forgotten.
The Forgotten?
It's when she gets on an airplane and she has a daughter. And then her daughter, like she goes, and then Jodie Foster, she takes a nap or some shit. And then when she wakes up, her daughter's no longer on the plane. And when she starts talking to people, she's like, what are you talking about? You never had a daughter. You walked on this plane by yourself. So the life that she thought that she had was not that what they were telling her.
What the fuck?
But she did have a daughter.
¿Cómo se llamaba?
I don't remember. But it's not I think The Forgotten is with Julianne Moore, but the other one, I don't know. But anyway, that's not the point of the story. Go.
Okay, back to my story. Can I say my story, please?
Yes.
Can I say my story? Okay. So they said that a lot of the sources that I read said that the movie was actually based on the infamous John Wayne Gacy, which we know that's kind of that man's crazy.
I think
everybody's crazy. Andre said
people are not okay.
Yeah, people are not okay. Andre said that he at one point started acting like he was in the movie, like he would start like portraying or
being as himself as being Hannibal Lecter, or just being like part of the movie.
Being a part of the movie, like he would like apparently in the movie. I kept seeing like
we would reenact the
shit.
movie. Yeah.
And then so he said that he would, since he was listening to dark emo shit, there was a point at the movie where the killer, which was Buffalo Bill, was a Nazi. And so he started.
You know what? Maybe we should watch it. I haven't seen it.
I think we should.
It's from 1991. I think Rosemary's Baby. I think I was confusing it with Rosemary's Baby, and I think Rosemary's Baby is from like the 60s or 70s.
No,
yeah. It's from 1991.
Yeah.
Silence of the Lambs. Yeah.
Yeah, y luego sale como Hannibal Lecter with the Leatherface, with the leather, but it's not Leatherface.
No, Leatherface is based on
Leatherface.
It's a Texas Chainsaw.
Yeah. Anyway, so then he started looking into Nazi practices, and he wanted to build a cult, but. It was kind
of at that age.
Yeah, at that age, but it was kind of interesting because his best friend was African American, and the other best friend, he was. I mean, his last name is Hernandez,
so he had to have some Hispanic in him.
Or maybe Filipino, but he was not Caucasian for sure.
And he was trying to like agarrar mañas de Nazis.
Sí, swastikas y todo el pedo, straight up in those books. I'm like, okay. Now, Andre also remembers another time where they had a football game that the school hosted. It was called the Turkey Bowl. So he said that everybody was in the bleachers having a good time, chilling with his little friends y todo. Y que después de eso, there was another group of little boys and they were talking to each other, whatever. Y in one point, the little boy le dijo un joke que no le gustó a Michael. So Michael le empezó a decir cosas y se levanta y sacó un screwdriver de su backpack and attacks the little boy. Yes.
8th graders.
13 years old. Like, yeah. And so he attacks the little boy.
Does he actually stab him or something?
He tries, but the parents kind of hold
the people
them back.
That were there?
People that were there, because it was full porque they were at a football game.
Yeah.
And so he's like trying to attack the kid or whatever. So I'm thinking, where the hell did he get the screwdriver from, right? Well, apparently he would lock his door in his room with the screwdriver para que no se metiera nadie because he had fucked up shit in his room. Mm-hmm. But he would say it was to keep his sister out. But
a screwdriver is not that hard to get a hold of, like in your house tampoco. It's not a knife.
Which is fine, but why would you carry it and try to stab people with it?
Yeah, well, because he's look at the shit that he's watching. Well, it's not that. I don't even think it's the stuff that's out there.
No, I'll finish. Okay. So then, according to Andre, he had a lot of fucked up shit in his room, pero eran cosas como, like, he would look up dead bodies.
Like morbid stuff.
Y luego, like, he would have pictures of them and then, like, print them and then stare at them. And then show
No, that's more than morbid.
Yeah. No. Sí, se pasó. And so then he would tell them, look how cool they are. Yeah.
Did he want to be a mortician?
I don't think he wanted to be something else, but not a mortician. So everybody around obviously helped stop the attack. I don't know what happened, if he got in trouble or something after that. He had to, but that's whenever Andre said, okay, there's something wrong.
That's really wrong.
Not okay. Yeah. Like I mentioned before, Michael's dad was a
Consignment store manager?
So, no, he was the owner.
Oh, okay.
So he told his dad that he was interested in knives. So el papá le empezó a comprar knives.
¿Se los traía?
Mm-hmm. And he had a collection.
Not like of kitchen knives, right?
No, bitch. Like fucking swords and shit. Like big ass knives. Yeah. He had knives. And so then, which I was kind of like, I get it, you know, as a parent, like, oh, you collect knives. That's pretty. But I don't know if I would buy a knife for my son. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, your son's 8. And I think that's so you can think of him. I think when you say I wouldn't buy things for my son, you think of him at his age as an 8-year-old. You wouldn't buy, of course, you wouldn't buy, a knife for an 8-year-old. Pero
let's take a quick break.
Persons of Interest is back, and it's bigger than ever.
That scream will echo in my head for many years.
Taser! He's gonna shoot!
Oi! Shots fired.
He had the perfect aim.
I am absolutely stressed at that point. I have no idea where my officers are.
Persons of Interest available everywhere you get your podcasts.
I mean, if you think about it, let's say that if you believe that your son is not harm, he wouldn't harm anybody. I mean, maybe. I don't know. Anyway, so it's not about me. According to Andre, he also said that he was so obsessed with the movie that that's all that he talked about. Like Silence of the Lambs. But
that ain't right.
But the thing is, think about it. Silence of the Lambs is not even a real story. Like, it wasn't like he was trying to portray something that was fake. So obviously it was, about John Wayne Gacy, but he didn't know that it was based on someone else, and Buffalo Bill was a fake.
Is it based on John Wayne?
That's what I read. He also said that he started noticing that Michael would be able to turn off like his face, like he would be like in a rage or doing something, and then he would be nice, like on and off. Everything would change, like whenever he wanted to turn it off.
It wasn't based on
John Wayne Gacy. I read somewhere that it was. Sorry about that.
No.
And so he said that he would like turn it off, like all of a sudden he was like acting
in character.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like he thought he was in the fucking movie, bitch. Not only that, but he started cutting himself. Like se cortaba. So he would come to school con cortadas y cortadas. So
like, pero do you think it was self-harm?
Self-harm.
Pero he was doing it for other reasons other than self-harm, right? He was doing it as part of like, do you think it had to do with like the stuff that the movie or something?
Well, I don't know if he was trying to mimic something from the movie. I don't know, but he did. Andre did ask him what was going on, and he said that.
I mean, obviously they were visible. Would people at school not see him, like teachers or something?
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure. I mean, at this point, girl, I don't know. With the kids acting so bad at school.
Yeah, but in 2004?
You'd be surprised. I mean, wait, hold on. Let's finish the story. He said he was indeed cutting himself. And when they asked him, he said that he just liked the pain. Mm-hmm.
He didn't want to go get a tattoo or something?
Yeah, right. So it took about 6 months after he
first began
cutting himself to when he started writing in the journals that he was done cutting himself. He wanted to hurt other people.
So he wanted to escalate. So at first he was doing it. I guess I don't know if you can escalate it from like, when they say that serial killers like harm animals primero.
Yeah.
And then they slowly
I guess he was like.
But he started with himself first?
I guess, yeah. So he would bring the knives to school and show his collection to his friends.
Damn, how many knives did he take?
I mean, I saw an actual picture, but he had like at least 10. Yeah, he had like all of them. Like I saw the picture. I don't know if you can look him up online. I have no idea. But he would try to show off a little bit, like that he was
right.
Known as
look at all my knives.
So look at all my knives and stuff like that. But he said he wanted a knife that could open quickly, like a switchblade,
like the human body, like would cut up of human body first.
No, he would wanted a knife that he could open quickly.
Oh, like it would like snap open
quickly. That's what he said. That was his goal. To have one.
I'm sure his dad could get it for him.
In his journal, he did write about how he wanted to become a serial killer, which means that he wanted to kill more than one person, obviously. So he had picked his victims, and he wrote a list of the victims in his journal, being his best friend, Jamie, Andre, and Christina, which is his sister.
Oh.
Based on Silence of the Lambs movie, we're going back to that because I guess that's what he based everything on. Buffalo Bill would kill people that was close to him because they trusted him.
Mm-hmm.
So
they're easy targets.
Also in the movie, Buffalo Bill lures one of his victims by asking for help to put something in his car or something like that. I guess that was one of the scenes. Obviously, Michael took close note of this because he tells the detectives at one point that he was going to ask his friend to come with him to the boys' restroom and show them something. So he started packing a few things in his backpack based on what he thought was necessary to
go through with this.
And he was going to
do it at school?
Yeah, he was going to do it at school. So he packed a pullover jacket, baseball cap, and some gloves. He later also tells detectives that he told his mom that the gloves were for a science fair project that he needed, and his mom bought them at Walgreens the night before.
Oh my God.
Yeah. On February.
Señora. I mean, oh my God.
On February 2nd, Michael's 14th birthday, he was wearing the pullover. And Andre said that when he saw him outside, like they would hang around in the same area every morning.
Before school?
Before school. Mm-hmm. And he said that when he saw him, it was weird to him because he was wearing a jacket and it was hot outside. So, and he said he would never wear jackets or anything like that, that he just was a hot-natured person. Mm-hmm. So I could relate because I'm always hot. So then he's like, why is this fool wearing a pullover? But okay, he didn't really think much of it because, he didn't question it. I mean, he's 13, right? And so then he said that later on, he was like, hey guys, like, let's go to the restroom. I want to show y'all something. Y dice que they walked over there and that he was really specific about taking them to the handicapped stall. And so he later explains that the reason he took them there was because he needed a room. Like he wanted a bigger stall.
Yeah. Porque no iban a caber los tres en a regular stall.
Exactly. So then he's like, I want to show you something inside. And so that Andre said, no, I'm not going in there. He's like, I remembered everything that
he had been
saying and doing.
And he got like a bad vibe.
Yeah. So he's like, no, I'm not going to do it. So then he said, come on, it's not going to take long. And so he said that the weird part is that when he turned around to look at him, he's like, it was really creepy. He put on the hat. So he had the baseball hat on, and then he had the jacket. And so he's like, come on, let's go in there. I need to show you something. Y que le dijo Andre, pues tráelo. Let me see it out here. Why do you want me to go in there?
Right. And then was Michael there too or no?
Yeah, Michael is the one saying that.
Oh, I'm sorry. The other friend.
Jamie, yeah. They were both. They were all three. It was Jamie, Andre, and Michael.
Yeah.
So then he's all like, come on, let me see it. And he's like, no, I'm not going to go in there or whatever, right? They were arguing.
Yeah.
So by this time, dijo Jamie, I'll go in there.
I know, Jamie.
Yeah. So then Jamie's like, I'll do it. But as soon as they were going to walk in, the bell rings.
Oh my God, yes.
So then the bell rang. And so then Andre said that they were like, well, we have to go back to class. We don't want to be late or whatever. Y que le dije que he was all like, yeah, I mean, that's fine. I guess we'll go back. He said that all he remembers is Michael's facial expression when he looked at them. He's like, it changed completely when we walked in and we walked out. I stared at him and he looked at me and he said, we'll see you tomorrow at the same time and same place. Like he was like, I need to see you tomorrow.
Oh.
Andre says once again that he remembers that like he could never explain the facial expression that he had.
Did he look like disappointed
no,
or like
he was like he had something to do. Like he was on a mission. Like
when they were talking
yeah. He's like he had something to get done, he said that he was just kind of like, I don't know about this. Cause he's like, dude, everything that had happened, like
he was being weird.
He was being weird, right? So with him cutting himself and then talking about the serial killers and he's being really weird about going to the stall and the movies and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, you imagine all of that at 13, just going through all of that.
And I mean, obviously, como dices, Jamie, like, and he did say that Jamie was the easiest person that was going to follow him anywhere. Jamie was all like gun ho and be like, oh, I'll just do it. And Andre was the one that he was like, fuck no, I'm going to follow my gut. Yeah.
So in an interview, like I told you before, there was an interview where Michael talked to detectives and that's what he said. Mm-hmm. He's like, I knew Jamie was going to come after. He was the weakest one. Blah, blah,
yeah.
Blah. Okay.
Pobrecito.
So they were arguing again. And so they literally got saved by the bell. They went out and then he tells them, hey, we'll meet you here tomorrow, same time, same place.
Fuck no, you won't.
So then Andre remembers that when he's leaving the restroom again, he said, tomorrow's going to be a special day, end quote.
Michael said.
Yeah. So then, like, como que él no se quedó a gusto, right? Like,
Right.
he's like, I don't know about this. But
Because he was going so hard about showing
Yeah.
and that stuff in the stall
in the
today.
stall, like, what the hell, you know?
Yeah.
So then the next day, February 3rd comes around, and it so happens that Andre had a club meeting in the morning, and Andre didn't go to the restroom to
Okay.
meet Michael.
And Jamie.
But Jamie did.
Yeah.
So he felt like it was a miracle from God, the fact that he had something going on and he didn't go, because what happened next is a little bit harsh. So if y'all don't want to hear it, you can skip a little bit over. It is kind of gruesome. So he said that it was just Jamie and him in the bathroom or in the restroom. And he proceeded to tell him to go into the stall again. And he said he turned around, locked the door, and he started putting on gloves. And so he tells him that Jamie did ask him, why were you putting on gloves? And he said, oh, I just like the way they feel. So dice que le dice, turn around because I have a surprise for you. And he said that he did, and he told him to close his eyes. So el
Ay,
niño,
no, pobrecito.
el niño closes his eyes as he was told. And at that point, he was a little shorter than him. So he pulled his neck back and he did slit his throat. So after that,
Oh my God.
Jamie turns around and said, please don't kill me.
Oh.
Yeah. So then Michael said, okay, I won't if you cooperate. But no, he proceeded to stab him 41 times. 41. Michael describes to the detectives, because at this point he's already telling them, that he stabbed him mainly in the back and in the neck because he was facing
Lo
forward.
agarró de por atrás. Por el frente.
And so he's stabbing him aquí en la nuca y acá atrás. And so he said he stabbed him one time in the temple and then, and once on the, I think in the side of his neck. And so he said that the detective says, I asked him, how did you know if he was dead? And he said, because he was stabbing him with the knife throughout his face. Like he started stabbing him in his face and then in his scalp. And so then he would like stab him. And then he said he looked into his eyes and that he made sure that they were motionless.
Wow.
So at this point, he knows that Jamie is deceased. He takes off his gloves, flushes them down the toilet, and puts a knife in his backpack along with his jacket and the baseball cap. He washes his hands. So he's standing there washing his hands. Mind you, he just killed his
Friend. One of his best friends.
and he's washing his hands. And then he said that it said that a student recalls coming into the restroom and asking him, hey, do you see that blood over there? And that he's all like, yeah, you should go tell somebody.
Wow.
Yeah. Michael, apparently, he didn't give a shit. He went back to class. He went back to class. He was a little late.
Like he didn't even fucking leave the school or no shit.
He went
just
back to
fucking
class.
like nothing.
He had no emotion. He wasn't worried about his friend. He didn't give a shit, right? So while he was in class, the classmates recall that he was laughing and joking and he was answering, like raising his hand and shit. Like
Como si nada.
Como si nada. At one point, the teacher gets close to him and he actually had blood on his shirt. So the teacher was like, hey, what happened there? And he's all like, I hurt myself while I was in the restroom. I hit my head. So he's all like, I need to, I'm just going to clean it off or whatever. So there was a lot of blood with 41 stab wounds and a slash to the throat. And I just don't understand that the teacher just noticed there was a small stain. I get it, but dude, like, what about his pants or anything? I don't know. I just have a lot of questions. Jamie was discovered by other students in the boys' restroom, and the boys ran to alert staff about what they saw. They put the school on lockdown because they didn't know if somebody was inside of the school.
Right. They had no idea it was a student.
Idea it was a student. So Andre does recall saying that he remembered the announcements and saying that they were going on lockdown. And he's like, I didn't know what was going on. I could have never imagined.
I looked him up, dude. He was little.
He was little.
He was a little kid.
He was smaller.
He looked younger than 13, 14.
Yeah, he did.
He looked like at least 11. He was so small.
Yeah.
Pobrecito.
Yeah. So Andre said that he remembers not knowing what was going on. He's like, I had no idea. I would have never thought that my friend was doing that to my other friend.
I mean, that's a thing. Like, you think, oh, yeah, he's being weird and stuff, and he's kind of sus, but you never think that that's going to happen or, to that extreme.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, I was talking to my daughter about it, and my daughter was like, okay, Mom, yeah, but I would be the one to like stab myself with the knife. Like, she's like, I wouldn't have the courage to do something like that. You know, I would be so scared. And I guess that's where a lot of the things that they were saying about Michael was that he didn't have any respect. Like, he wasn't scared. Like, le valía verga. Like,
he wasn't mentally well.
Well, yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, he was like detached or...
Yeah, kind of, he didn't have any emotion. Like, he was just kind of like, I'm just doing it because I think it's cool. That's it.
Yeah, like the whole thing about him just going back to class. So did he not think that what he did was wrong?
Actually... Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. They did tell the kids that something was, or the kids, I guess, kind of found out by everybody talking that they had found a dead body in the restroom, excuse me. And he said Michael did do his best to blend in and act like he was scared too. Like, oh my God, really?
So he was playing it off.
Mm-hmm. They started to investigate to see who was close to Jamie, and that's when they found out Jamie was friends with Michael
Andre.
And they went into the classroom and they started asking him and the teacher's questions. And the teacher's like, dude, I noticed that there's blood on this kid's shirt, you know, and he told me that he had hurt himself in the restroom. So maybe he was in the restroom.
Right.
So after that, they took him out and they started the investigation.
Well, then those other two kids saw him in the restroom and that he was like, yeah, I should alert somebody.
Yeah. So when they asked if he knew Jamie, he said, yes, we have been friends since we were in the 7th grade. At first, Michael started telling the story about Jamie. Now, you saw Jamie. You see Jamie. He's wearing his little glasses.
Yeah, super
sweet. And so then he tells them that Jamie had debt with a gang member by the name of Sangre.
Oh.
Yeah, Sangre. And he was an 18-year-old. And
in middle school?
In middle school. And that he was the one that had stabbed Jamie.
And slit his throat.
Yeah. And he said that he had given him the knife. He took his knife and he did it. Sangre told him because he didn't know what to do when he started stabbing Jamie. I mean, obviously the detectives did not believe it.
Right.
So what did they do? Se van a la casa del muchacho and they start going through his stuff. His backpack, obviously, there they find... And I'm actually going to show Estela the pictures of what they found.
I'm sure they found a plethora of shit in his room.
Yeah, well, they just went through his backpack
and his backpack had enough fucking 10 knives and shit.
So this is what they found. This was the knives that he had.
Oh,
he had like stars.
Yeah,
¿Cómo se llaman?
Stars. I can't.
The ninja stars or whatever they're called. So that's one.
Dude, they look like fucking Athames and shit from Charmed. A razor blade. The little stars.
I mean, he has at least, a few.
Bro, that's like...
A few.
Those are weapons.
Yeah, those are weapons. For him to have that, like, that many, like, ooh. That is the jacket that he was wearing.
Oh, it was red, too.
It was red, too.
And it says Sean John baseball cap.
And there's some gloves that he had not used because, remember, he did flush the ones that had blood in the toilet. Hold on, I'm trying to find the one where he hid it. He had hid the backpack. He had made a pocket to put the knife in, I guess, so that they wouldn't find it.
Inside the backpack?
Inside the backpack. But it was like a pocket. Like, it wasn't even like
it wasn't part of the backpack. He probably made a rip.
He made a rip, yeah. He made a rip, andale. He made a rip. See how it's like a pocket? Like, he tore the backpack.
Yeah.
And made like a pocket to put the knife in there.
But they could have felt for it. I mean, but he's 13, 14 anyway.
He thought that he was going to... Come on, obviously. Yeah. I mean, he thought that he was smart enough to get away with it. That's what he was thinking. Yeah, because I'm going to get away with it.
Because he made sure to ask for gloves. He made sure to wear a jacket
he was wearing a jacket so that he wouldn't get anything on his shirt.
And why was he using a baseball cap?
Oh, because he didn't want to leave hair.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he didn't want to leave hair.
He was thinking of all the...
Yeah, he was like, I guess...
Yeah, covering all the bases.
Covering all the bases. So at this point, after he told them this story, like I said, they went and I guess they were looking for evidence, or they found all the evidence that they
needed.
Or that they needed. They then get a warrant for his home, like I said, and so they went over there and that's when they found these damn journals. Dude, these journals... I know that my kids probably write some bullshit, but... This is some shit. Like, I'm going to show Estela the journal where he wrote down what he had been planning. And look at that. It says planning. Straight up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Date February 2nd, 2000. 4 victims. He wrote the names, materials, like instructions. Like if you're writing a recipe for banana bread.
Yeah,
Pero
straight
it's
up.
what you're going to do when you're going to murder one of your friends. Wow.
So Andre says that he didn't know about the arrest until he got home. He said that he saw it in the news.
Wow.
So he wasn't aware of everything that had happened. Then he said that he was in shock. He's like, I had no idea. When they bring back the journals and confronted Michael with the journal, obviously the cops are shocked to see.
What about his mom?
They really don't say much about what happened with his mom.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that they were pretty, shocked as well. Like I said, and Estela said, he had a list that he wrote on his birthday, which was February 2nd. He had another person on the list of people that he was going to kill, along with his sister and his best friends. His sister was the first on the list.
Wow. I wonder what made him, but I think he was going to have more time with with Jamie and Andre, right? First?
Supposedly. Yeah.
Because he would see them all day at school. His sister, they just get ready in the morning and go to school and then no la
so
ve.
He wouldn't see him. He also had details about leaving their bodies propped up and displayed on the toilet seats.
What?
Yeah. Not only that, but he had one of the entries that said, be quick and make sure to get blood off. Make sure they are dead. Make sure that there's no one in the bathroom. If so, kill them. End quote.
Wow.
During his confession, he does admit that he had been planning this murder for about a week. This murder. Well, he was planning murders, but he only
did one.
He dressed in the jacket and hat and gloves to conceal physical evidence.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what he wanted.
So he wouldn't leave any DNA behind and stuff.
So the detectives sí le preguntaron que cuáles eran sus intenciones. Like what was your plan? And he stated that he just wanted to kill.
He wanted to be a serial killer.
He thought that they were so cool and he just wanted to be like one. He also did mention, and here we go again, Jamie did try to fight back by blocking the blade with his right hand. That actually was corroborated by the coroner, which he had lacerations that were found in his hands. And when Michael did slit his throat, when he slit Jamie's throat, he did go through both his windpipes and his jugular. Yeah, so he did, he wasn't.
It went deep.
I'm going to say a little bit about Jamie. He was a straight A student. He was a violin player. He was actually the only son of his parents, George and Maria Gough. Mm-hmm. And he was described as a funny animal lover. And
he was 13?
13. Yep.
You look little. You look younger than 13.
Jamie does say that excuse me. Michael does say that he didn't feel like he did anything wrong. He said, okay, it's wrong, but not right.
What?
Yeah. So
what is he talking about?
Yeah. It was just ridiculous. He was just saying that he wasn't right and he wasn't wrong. He felt like it needed to happen and all this other shit that wasn't even necessary. But anyway, in September 2008, after 3.5 hours, the jury deliberated and found Michael guilty of first-degree murder, attempted murder of Andre Martin. The insane plea, of course, insane. They were like, oh yeah, he's insane. They were saying that he was schizophrenic and he was bipolar, borderline.
Well, he had to have had beings.
There was no physical evidence.
Well, there wouldn't be physical evidence.
Or there was no evidence. They checked him. They had psychiatrists and all these people coming out and there was no evidence of any mental illness.
Like he didn't have
Not only did the prosecutor and the defense, both of them brought people to test him and there was nothing. Yeah. So he was sentenced to life in prison. Thank God. In 2016, the Supreme Court in Florida I'm going to say that again. In 2016, the Supreme Court in Florida did ban automatic life sentences for juveniles. Mm-hmm. And Michael did appeal his order by saying that he was a changed man and that he wanted an early release. Pero, let me tell you what happened. While he was in jail, he had a few phone calls with his girlfriend. Mm-hmm. And they would actually play these for the judge. Mm-hmm. In the phone calls, he tells his girlfriend that if he would have become I'm going to say that again. He told his girlfriend that if he would have become a serial killer, that he was going to have a signature by taking the victim's eyes out and carving crosses on their foreheads. So that means, in fact, that he was not a changed man.
I don't think so.
Oh, so they were like, no, you have to stay in jail, bitch. There's no way we can let you out. Like, y qué bueno que no lo dejaron salir porque me imagino, like, the fucking mess he would have made.
I mean, there has to be something because obviously a lot of people watch the same movies. Like, how many people watch Silence of the Lambs?
Exactly.
It's not the movie.
No.
It has to be him.
Yeah,
it has to be something wrong with him.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad they didn't let him out.
No,
Whatever it was. Thank God. And so since then, Andre did become a detective with the Miami-Dade County. He said that because of the way that the police protected him and that the way he was treated.
Right.
They were like, they were so impeccable with me. And he said there was no way that I could not go into the police, the force. The force, yeah. And so he also became a martial arts expert. He had like 4 black belts or something like that. So he was like, I can fight back.
Yeah.
Right. In 2018, a street in Palomento was named after Jamie.
Aww.
And Andre was there for the ceremony. You would think that the story ends here.
No, I not coming from Michael. I'm sure something else happened.
So yeah, something else did happen. In April of 2021, then 31-year-old Michael Hernandez died in his cell from a cardiac dysrhythmia. I'm gonna say that again. From a cardiac dysrhythmia attributed to morbid obesity.
What?
Yep. At first, they were saying that he had overdosed on drugs. But something was wrong with his heart. Like, there's no way that...
You know what? I ain't sad about it.
And you know what? Let me tell you what happened. Jamie's parents did make a statement after learning that Michael had passed away in jail. And I quote, Miss Hernandez, Mr. Hernandez, we're not happy to hear that your son has passed away despite all that we have been through. We as parents know how it feels. End quote.
Yeah.
And
but it's one thing having your child murdered as somebody else dying based on, their own health problems or something.
Yep. And that is the middle school murder of Jamie Gough. And it's like, you can be speechless for this one, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, it was crazy. The fact that the way that he talked to detectives, and I kind of want to...
I'm so surprised that he was like, he wasn't diagnosed with anything. I'm so surprised.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like, the fact that he did not give a shit, like, straight up. He was like, yeah, I did this and then I did that. Like, he was like still telling a story.
It had to happen.
A lot of the detectives that I read or that I saw, some of them, I did see some stories that were saying that they really did think that he was going to outsmart everybody because he was so intelligent that...
so stupid. He's still 14.
I mean, he was still 14.
That's what I'm saying.
Obviously.
He's still a kid.
But dude, like, I am so happy that he was
still
so
got
stupid.
Seen by people in the restroom.
Obviously.
I mean, you fucking didn't leave the school. You stayed in school. You're a fucking child.
I mean, ¿para dónde le iba a dar Estela? Para la casa y luego they were going to know he's missing? I mean, it was stupid. Anything he did, todo lo que iba a hacer was going to point to him anyway.
The first mistake was trying to do it to people that were close to you.
Not only that, doing it at all. It's
exactly.
Like, stop.
Oh, yeah.
You know why? ¿Por qué? What is the reason? He just... I mean, like you said...
no estaba bien mentalmente.
Okay, yo te entiendo, and I understand that. But what I'm saying is, like you said, it's not the movie. Something had to be
wrong
not
with
okay with him. Because if he was obsessing over exercising, and then he was obsessing over the garage door, and he was obsessing over everything. There's no way they couldn't even... Like, they didn't even say that he had OCD.
See, there has to be something there. Something's wrong
Something is wrong. Pero I'm glad that the judge made the right decision about keeping him in jail because that would have been a big mistake.
Yeah, I mean, besides, I don't think they would have let him out regardless because he was talking all that shit on the phone.
Yeah. So
like you don't think they're listening to these phone calls? Like,
exactly what I said. I was telling my husband when I was listening, I'm like, dude, I was so mad at him. Like, I was enraged because I'm like, that's bien pendejo. Like, they listen.
I'm glad that you're
exactly.
glad that you're pendejo.
And as we always say that. Me da gusto que eres un pinche estúpido. But the thing is, like, bro, you don't understand.
And you think you're so smart.
They think they're fucking smart. Like, me da un pinche coraje, bro. Like, for real. And why does he have a girlfriend in jail?
Dude, the same way why... I mean, don't you hear like those Ted Bundy and all these people...
¿Cómo se llamaba? The Night Stalker?
Richard Rodriguez, all these girlfriends that they had, or all these groupies that would show up to the court and
no
stuff.
Le mandaban letters?
Yeah, I mean, don't people like get... Isn't there a show
Oh yeah,
people get married
in jail or something.
Yeah,
I don't know what the
yeah.
fuck. But anyway,
But I don't know.
this was a story. It was really sad. I really give thanks to my cousin that brought this to light because I feel like
You wouldn't have known about it
I would have
otherwise.
never known about this otherwise, and I really
I don't
appreciate
think I've
her.
heard anybody else talk about this before.
No, and it's really a bad,
Sad,
very sad because my children are going to be at that age at one point, and you know your nieces and nephews.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate everybody's support. We are at 132 on Instagram and growing. Cálmate. Wow. And we appreciate everybody that's out there giving your support. I heard my cousins trying to get my uncle to listen, and I was like, please don't, porque hablo puras pendejadas, y la verdad es not necessary. And he's my padrino, and I'm like, no, he's going to be like, ¿qué es estas chingaderas? But anyway, so if you would like to follow us on Instagram, we are at
Cafecito and Crime Pod, or if you would like to send us an email to
cafecitoandcrimepod@gmail.com. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next one.
Oh, you'll hear us in the next one.
Or you'll hear us in the next one. Bye.
Bye.